Hello, welcome to another video. I'm Steve. I have a YouTube channel where I'm putting some Cambridge videos online to help with C1 exams, that kind of thing. Another famous thing I do as a teacher is I do an end of the year quiz. Some students have said that they vaguely liked this, which is an incredible thing to hear as a teacher when a student actually says that, when today's apathetic teenagers say they actually enjoyed a lesson. So I thought I'd update this tradition and put it online as well. I'm doing this in class with a little bit more interactive elements to it, a food tasting round, for example, and with a little bit less grammar in it because it's a bit of an end of year fun. But on this channel, since it's a Cambridge English channel, what we're going to do is a quiz of the year 2023 and with some added Cambridge C1, B2 use of English grammar activities, so you can practice that as well. You've got a good thing to practice. Here's how it's going to work. Look, there's going to be 9 rounds. A fun one, a more general knowledge pub quiz sort of round, then interspersed with your C1 use of English part 1, 2, 3 and 4. Each round has 10 points. It's supposed to be difficult. Let me know your score at the end of it, although I don't care at all, but let me know. Right, let's get into this. Round 1, the news. I'm going to go through these fairly quickly because I imagine you'll want to pause the video if you want more time or you don't want to be wasting time with it. So here we go, news from 2023. Question 1, why was everyone looking up at the sky? Question 2, who had their money with SVB, Silicon Valley Bank? The clue's in the name. And question 3, the specific reason why there was a strike, the main reason why there was a strike. Pause if you need to read them, otherwise ABC. This first round of multiple choice ABC. Question 4, how many people had COVID killed when it was declared over by Tedros Ghebreyesus, I don't know. Which club did Messi sign for in June? There we go, he went to America. Where exactly? And how did the 5 people who sadly died when they were visiting the Titanic, how did they die? Interesting question. Pause them if you need more time. Let's move on. Question 7, an economics question. A lot of inflation this year. How does inflation work? After a year of inflation at 5%, can they buy more, the same or less than they could today? Question 8, who did Matthew Perry play in Friends? A very easy question for anyone my age from an English speaking country, and most anyone. Question 9, it was hot this year, if you noticed. How much hotter it was this year than the pre-industrial average, according to the World Meteorological Organization. And question 10, Spain won the World Cup this year. Who scored the winning goal? Who should we remember from this World Cup? There we go. There's your multiple choice questions. What I'd recommend doing is, if you're doing this in class, in teams, draw a line under it so it's very clear, and then write round 2 for the next set of questions, which is use of English part 1. And it's about AI, which was very big in 2023. So pause the video, or copy and paste it or whatever. Or the problem with pausing it is the stuff comes on the screen, doesn't it? At least on mine. So I don't know what to do about that. You'll have to wait a minute and make sure you can read number 1 and number 2 clearly. We know how this part of the exam works. You choose the best option. How do you choose the best option? Well, you know the words. Or you try and look at the context of the sentence and the meaning of the words and you think, what does it mean? Well, if it means this might mean this. You try and use your brain, which is annoying because that really hurts, doesn't it, using your brain? But that's the only thing you can do about it, really. So there's part 1. Okay, about AI, choose the best word to fit these gaps. Obviously, this was written by ChatGPT. I'm not going to write some crap like this, am I? It is a little bit inelegant how it writes, but it's good for varying your vocabulary. It's a vocabulary machine, really, isn't it? It's a language machine, ChatGPT. So there's round 2, use of English, part 1. Next round, music. I'm going to play 10 of the 10 most popular songs on Spotify this year. Then you will not see the video, but you need to tell me what the song is. I'm going to give you the options because I want everyone to do very well here. And at least for me, this would be impossible because I only listen to podcasts in my car. So here goes song number 1. We are listening to it. There we go. Something about nails, cherry, roses. A nice little tune here. The song number 1. Write the name of the artist. Here goes number 2. What are we listening to? Do you know this music that apparently millions and millions of people listen to this year? There we can just about hear. Do, 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 do. Very good. Number 3. Another song. They all sort of sound the same to me, but that's because I'm a boring old man. But now I'm starting to recognise this one. Yeah, this one's a little bit different. What an interesting direction this quiz has taken. That wasn't even a pun, but I just realised it was. Number 4. Here comes number 4. Doesn't sound very good to me. Sort of sounds very generic, modern pop. But there we go, that's what people like. I guess that's what makes it generic. Number 5. Let's listen to number 5. Well, that's a little bit different, isn't it? This is really the most popular music in the world, is it? Isn't that surprising? What a diverse world we live in. He's not speaking English. We have music that's not English in the top 10 in our top 10 quiz. I've been doing this for many years and you can notice the difference. What are we up to? Number 6. Ah, that's more like it, isn't it? This is music that we can be more comfortable with. There we go. There's nice little singing there as I talk over it. Ah, and then the breakdown. Number 7. We are listening to number 7. A very recognisable voice. If I recognise it, then young people should recognise it, shouldn't they? Even if I don't really know the song. Not quite up there with the classics, but you can recognise it. Here comes number 8. We are listening to number 8, which again sounds very new to me. Something about lockdown there. Falling down. It's nice. A bit of a reggae vibe, no? Like, oh, good, very good. Baby, don't go low. Okay, thank you. You can stop there. Number 9. Obviously I'm talking over it for the copyright stuff, but we have to talk just to show that I'm commenting on this music like a music critic. Another very recognisable voice, speaking in what sounds to me like some kind of southern hemisphere language. But there we'll go, we'll see. And one more. I think this one is the only one I would actually know because I'm a middle-aged white man. And if this is a clue, I remember listening to this in a party in a caravan when I was 17 with Scott and Lee and Sam and Yannicka. Long time ago. Good accent, nice northern accent there. Right, there we go, that's the music round. Moving on. We move on to part 2. In this part of the exam, you need to complete the sentences using a word that fits them. It's going to be a common little word, like in, on, at, the example I always give, which probably has some answers here. There are 10 here because there's 10 points per round. Pause the video about visiting museums and try and answer them. 1 to 10, write the word. There we go, let's move on. You've done it, you've paused the video, you've answered all these. Next round. Next round is the Timeguessr round. Oh, I have been addicted to Timeguessr this year. I try and play most days. It's a great website if you haven't seen it. It shows you a historic photo and you have to guess the year and the place it was taken. And you get points, more points for the closer year, the closer place. I'm going to play a very simplified version with my students and with you if you want to. There's 5 photos because it's 2 points per round. So this first photo, say the city and the year. Look at all the clues. There are plenty of little clues there. City and year. If not, have a guess. Although, if you're wrong, I don't think you get any points in my scoring system. Number 2, a city and a year. Again, look around for the clues. Some little clues there. Number 3, a city and a year. You've written something, good. Number 4, a city and a year. A little bit more difficult, but some people should know this. They're supposed to be difficult, really, but it's a very definite city and a very definite year that's gone down in history. So write down the city and the year. And number 5, the same again. Write down the city and the year. Same again, this is a very historically important place and time. If you get all the clues, then you should have a good idea of when and where this photo was taken. Right, that's the end of the photos. Let's go on to round 3, which actually is in the quiz that I'm going to give to my kids, because I want to do a little bit of English in there, and it's in this one as well. It's a part 3 exam. Again, I'll leave it on the screen for a minute so you can have a read without the little X coming down on the YouTube video. It's part 3. In this blank number 1, you need to change the word I give you, the root word number 1, you need to form the word so that it fits this gap word formation. For example, enthusiasm could become, well, I can't give an example, can I? Because it's going to be right. Enthuse, the verb to enthuse. But the answer is not enthuse, no. So there we go, 10 answers, 1 to 10. Transform these words based on your understanding of the sentence, telling you whether you need a negative, a past tense, a verb, an adverb, all these kind of things. Pause the video, do the rest of them. Enjoy this lovely Christmas story that I wrote. It wasn't ChatGPT. You're supposed to cough at the same time as saying it, aren't you? I forgot. But no, again, we're using all the resources we can to create these materials to help students. So there we go. You've paused it. You've written 1 to 10. Great. Next round, the series round. This round is very simple. I'm going to show a screenshot from a series that was big in 2023. You need to write the name of the series. Again, I'm only going to put 5 seconds for each video, for each picture. Pause the video if you must. There is series number 1. Man, that was good. And it's number 1 for a reason. That was what I will remember from this year. There is number 2, which I haven't seen, but apparently was popular. There is number 3. Very famous. There is number 4. There's going to be 10. There is number 5. Something with West Ham. There's number 6. Who is that? What series is it? The name of the series. There's number 7. Quite striking image, that one. Quite distinctive. Number 8, another very famous one from this year. On my list, on my watch list. Number 9, very famous again, but again I haven't seen it, I really should. Looks a bit fake, that image, but should be recognisable. And number 10, this was a famously bad series. I didn't watch it, I only watched D'Angelo Wallace ripping it apart on YouTube. Random people on the internet. So you got 1 to 10, you've written the series. Use of English part 4 is the next round. We know how this works. You need to complete the second sentence so it means the same as the first sentence, using a minimum of 3 and a maximum of 6 words for C1. So pause the video, complete these 5 sentences. There are 2 marks each in the exam, so the advice is, just like in life, always try your best. Always try something. Because even if you don't really know what you're doing, you might just get 1 mark because you wrote of or as, and you've got it in the right place, even though you don't know what you're talking about. So try and complete the sentences, 2 marks for each one. Pause the video to take more time. You should take 5-10 minutes for this because it's important in the exam. They're all sentences that I wrote about 2024, important things of 2024, like England's hilariously bad World Cup in the ODI Cricket World Cup. And the nice cold winter we're enjoying, how good Oppenheimer was, and a decent year for crypto, although a lot of people are still down. But there's always next year. I'm confident 2024 will be successful. So there we go, let's use fingers part 4. Next, final round. Yep, this must be the final round. This is the 9th round. This is trending. This is the slightly funnier news from 2023. These memes that they have nowadays, the young people, these popular trending stories on TikTok and so on. Question 1. Who's that? That's easy, isn't it? A, B, or C. You can just write A, B, or C in your answers when you've drawn a line under it. This is round 9 if you're keeping count correctly. Round 9. Question 1. A, B, or C. Who is it? Question 2. Whose hands are compared to sausages this year? That's an easy one again. They're all quite easy, really. And question 3. Where did they say they would have their cage fight? These two superior beings who, according to Worthington's law, are better than us because they're richer than us. Where were they going to fight and waste everybody's time with their pathetic egos? So that's 1 to 3. Let's move on. Question 4, that's Taylor Swift. Inspirational Taylor Swift. Who is she dating? Which I'm ashamed to say I know because I listen to podcasts and things and they talk about it. Question 5. Why is Kevin James famous? A show I never really watched, but always used to be on TV in the morning when I was getting ready for school. And question 6, talking about Riz. What does Riz refer to? Charisma, respect, or aristocrat? Had to pronounce that one to make sure everyone gets the possible options. But what is Riz? Question 7, complete the quote. A nice easy one. Cool picture. Question 8, what is Pedro Pascal eating? Which apparently was a popular video or something. And question 9, content warning on this video for offensive, but why is that a special little photo of Mario? And question 10, what is Michael listening to? Let's just let the image play once more. And you can hear it in your head, if you're me at least. Maybe everyone can. There we go, A, B or C, that's everything. Let's go through the answers. So we started with the news questions, and those are the answers for the news questions. Give yourself a score out of 10, or if you are marking another team's questions in a class, which is how you should be doing this, how my great students have so much fun doing it, give them a score out of 10 very clearly so you can add them up. Next, we had the use of English part 1. The answers here, which I will explain quickly, just for any doubts. We should have, number 1, emerged. Look at that, is that right? Well, I didn't quite mean to make it like that, but you can see the answers. It emerged as. As was the key word. It's the only one that can go with as. Number 2, machine learning. That's the expression. Quite a common expression now. One of these things that will become more and more well known as it becomes more and more popular. What did businesses use AI for? They harnessed AI for doing this. You harness something for something, like use it for something. We talk about healthcare having witnessed a revolution. It witnessed a revolution, the best phrase there. And we're talking about healthcare. We're talking about patient care. The care for patients is patient care. The ethical dimensions, the meaning of the different ethical, aspects, dimensions of AI, meant that we had a call for transparent algorithms. People are calling for it. People are saying we should have transparent algorithms to ensure that there's no bias and problems like this, and that it's used responsibly. How do we want the integration of human and artificial intelligence to be? We want it to be harmonious. It should be harmonious. That's how the integration should be. That's the only one that makes sense for how they should be integrated. It's got a role as an indispensable force, and it's catapulting humanity toward uncharted realms of progress, like the video game. Realms that we haven't visited before are uncharted. It's new, everything's new. So mark out of 10 for that. And here comes part 3. Those are the music answers. Those were the artists that we heard. Many of them famous, many of them not for me, but there we go. Mark out of 10 for the music. Pause the video if you need to. Then use of English part 2. You urge someone to do something. Urge them to observe every exhibit. Irrespective of, this is respective, really? It's only used with irrespective of, isn't it? It's respect to, irrespective of personal interest. There exists, that's a nice one, that's a nice C1 expression. There exists an expectation that a museum, like there is, but there exists. We are transforming this pursuit into a hurried endeavour. Endeavour is a thing, it needs an article, it's a hurried endeavour. You may navigate the galleries driven more by fear. You are driven by something, driven by fear, more than curiosity or appreciation for the exhibits. I guess you could say of, but we already said of, so for is better. And number 7, you pop into, common C1 phrasal verb, to pop into some place. You are claiming to have seen them all. but you haven't really seen them. You just want to go home and sit down, unburdened, because you don't really want to be interested in every piece of art. There is a contrast between societal expectations of looking at things in the museum and personal preference of sitting down and going on the internet or something. So there we go, mark out of 10 for Use of English Part 2. Then those are the answers for the places. We had the London Olympics in 2012, where Usain Bolt ran a very fast time and broke the relay world record. Then we had Paris in 2020, or maybe 21. I think I'd accept both. The point was they're all wearing masks. Then Hiroshima in 45, a very sad image. Then Dallas with the assassination of JFK, which was 22/11/63. And Berlin, the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989. And it said the wall must fall. Context, history, it was the Berlin Wall. Everything was in black and white back then, of course, a very evocative time. Use of English Part 3. We have students enthusiastically counting down. Those are the answers before I get ahead of myself. They discovered a box during the celebrations. They joined in with the joyous atmosphere, or joyful is also okay. They shared, what were they sharing? They were laughing. Well, the thing of laughing is laughter. And they were embracing diversity. What a beautiful Christmas it was, or festive period. But really, we can say Christmas, can't we? Unless someone's going to come and kill me for saying Christmas. I doubt it. What did it do to the bonds? This was a good one. It solidified their bonds. That's a tough one. But we should have tough questions. It's a difficult exam. Well done if you got it. It lay in the shared warmth. Warmth is the noun. Religion, religious. And the beginning, or beginnings is also okay. We can be a bit poetic and say this is the beginnings of a tradition which went on for a long time. Beautiful story with lots of nice word formation in it. Those are your series, lots of famous series. As we said, if you haven't seen The Last of Us, go and watch it in English, improve your English, improve your listening, and it's a great, great series. Really well made, loved it. And some other good ones in there. I've only seen Ahsoka, which was a bit bad, but you get to see aliens and people in space fighting, so it's not all bad. So those are the series. This is Use of English Part 4. We should have, it came as a disappointment to me. Something comes as a shock, surprise, disappointment. So 1 mark for knowing that something comes as a and 1 mark for knowing disappointment from disappointed. Those are the 2 marks. I'm confident of my chances of success. You could also say about my chances of success. Of or about is okay here. And you could also say I'm confident of about my chances of being successful. That's okay. The point is, chances of something. Success is a thing. Being successful is the gerund, so it also works. Number 3, of course, we have to have an inversion question. No sooner had winter arrived, not winter had arrived, had winter arrived, than I put on my gloves. Typical C1 structure for part 4. Number 4, we had to have a difficult expression, where the expression is to have a good grasp of something, which means you understand it. I understand it very well. I have a good grasp of it. And number 5, regret, wish. I regret not investing. This means I didn't do it, but I feel bad that I didn't do it. So I wish I had invested more money and we could have made some money. There we go. That's Use of English Part 4. 10 marks for that, obviously. 1 point for each phrase, each part, either side of the dividing line. That is the next to the 1 on your keyboard that you can, if you know how to write it. You've learned something really useful in this video. Right, last round. 10 marks for that, 10 marks for this. Those are the trending questions, and those are the answers. Mark it out of 10, and you will have a total out of 90. And you can see who was the winner if you did this in a class like I'm going to do in my classes. I hope you enjoyed it, and you've learned a bit of English and reflected on the great year that was 2023. Thank you, goodbye.